baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. Going back to Cairo now, won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Oh man, I'm so excited about today that I dropped my iPad on the floor. Hello and welcome. Another live stream with Home Music Mac and some acoustic blues, maybe slide guitar, some open tunings. We'll see how it all goes because today is a special day. I have a special guest star, a very, very dear friend of mine, David Hunte, and he's going to join me a little bit later on after the blues backup that we're going to be doing as usual, right? And I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be like baked into this interview with David that we talk about how other instruments or musicians who play other instruments can inspire us who play guitar. In my case, I listen a lot to people who play piano, of course, that's my main influence. Apart from maybe some guitar players, but mostly those very old ones, early blues, early ragtime, early jazz, and so on. But I'm mostly listening to piano players after that, and then some saxophone players. I love to listen to jazz. I love to listen to bebop. I love to listen to Dixieland jazz, traditional jazz. So it's like, okay, but you're not playing that music. Yeah, I'm not, but it's influencing me. It's inspiring me. And sometimes you just get this melody line that you've heard somewhere like, oh yeah, that's right. That's that song, or that's that groove. I'm mostly into listening to grooves. So basically, one of the influences on my playing, especially lately, for a couple of years, is this guy. Yep, Albert Amons, early boogie-woogie piano player. He only lived like 42 years, I think. And he accomplished incredibly much. He was just amazing guitar player, piano player. He played boogie-woogie, and it was a lot of technical stuff. It was a lot about grooves, and he established some of the main kind of licks and idioms of boogie-woogie piano playing. Him, Pete Johnson, and a couple of others. That was, the thing. And he also accompanied some singers. And I have an old recording with him playing together with Sister Rosetta Tharpe on the song That's All. I think I even played that in a couple of live streams ago. So yeah, that's basically that. But we will start as usual with our blues backups. So we're gonna do this main thing as we usually do. It's gonna be the slow blues in E to start with. All right. David is already in the chat. Okay, and he's in the background waiting in our interview room. So as soon as I'm finished with the backup, we'll bring David in. Let me see who else is here. Milovan, hi. Great to see you. Why are these comments up there? So, now you're in the right spot. Graham, UK Attack from Wantage. Great to see you back. And great to see you back as well, Patrick. That's great. Hello, David. I'll see you in a minute. All right. So I think we'll start off. So now, with a little bit of piano influences from before, let's do this one. Instead of shuffly blues backup, it's going to be something like this. right. Dear Albert, I got distracted because I tried to do two things at the same time, like playing and watching the comments at the same time, and that didn't just work. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is good. So, just a little explanation of what I did here. Well, the first after the E chord was a form of A, but with fifth string on the fourth fret, which makes it a third of the A chord. And then I played the E7 here on the fifth fret of the fifth string, and then the third string on the fourth fret, but I only played those three strings. So the fifth string, third, and the first. And then in the case of chord A, I just played fifth, fourth, and the third string. And then the E with this little hammer on. So this string can be picked at the same time or just as an accompaniment. And then I didn't play any turnaround in between rounds, so that's a little bit. And there's this little thing that I sometimes also do that I kind of brush with my thumb. I don't play any string particularly, but I kind of. So it's like a. And then you dampen the strings you just don't want to be heard with your left fretting hand. And basically that's it. Then in the A, I play that, and then I play the form of D with the A in the bass. So I just put the second string on the third fret and the fourth string on the fourth fret. And here, which is actually a A7th, but without a real seventh, but it's like a, yeah, the seventh is in an open G string. And then back to that D form and then A. And then later on, I just kind of reversed the whole order. I started with the E7. I played this was because actually it was David who played this as an improvisation in one of his live streams, and he just went on into that, and I said, that's right, I used to play things resembling to that, and it just came back to me, and then ever since I kind of played it more than before, which means you always get inspired by listening to other people playing, which is great. All right. Thank you. Whoever is listening with his or hers earphones, the guitar sound should be in stereo. Should be like a little bit to your left and right. And with my hoarse voice in the middle. All right. So I think we are ready to bring in David, who is ready. And I don't know why David Amons came here. Oh, that's right, because I wanted to press this button here. Welcome, David.
Hey, thank you for having me.
That's great. You guys tell us and help us right off the bat if David's audio is okay. Let us know if it's too low, if it's too loud, and then we'll go on from there. David, it was a nice live stream today. Yes. You did your live stream 6 o'clock in the morning that you do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If for nothing else, I'd admire you for that. But on top of everything.
Well, it was the time that I had where I
Mm,
knew I would be able to be consistent because I'm home.
right.
I haven't gone anywhere else yet. So,
Yeah.
and I started at that time because that's during the pandemic, it seemed like the most logical thing. And
Yeah,
so I've
sure.
just kept at it. I know there are some people who want me to be later, like at night or something like that, but I think it serves the community at the time that
Yeah.
I'm live.
Yeah. And you built a very nice community. And I kind of ended up there. I don't remember how we got uh, to know each other or how I got to know about your live stream. But I ended up going there and, saying hi in the chat and saying hi to other people, just like we've got people communicating here in the chat on my live stream later on. But you were first and you started it off earlier than I did. And actually, you encouraged me a lot to start my live stream before I thought I was ready, actually. Yeah. So
Wow, that's good
is
to know.
David still louder than me? David, say something. One, two, three.
One, two, three.
All right.
Well, I could turn my volume down.
No, but I mean, I just turned you down a little bit here in our live
Maybe
streaming
need to be a little.
software that we're using, both of us. We're using Ecamm Live.
I have a big mouth.
Uh,
That is true.
you got a big voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right, let's start off with people will help us with in the chat just to tell us if the voice is okay, your audio is okay, and then
Patrick is saying that I'm a little bit louder than you are.
yeah, but that was a
Um,
couple of minutes ago, and I kind of lowered it a little bit from then. Just let
yeah,
us know
so Albert
now.
said it was
From
better.
now,
Better now.
yeah, better now. Good, good, perfect. So, David,
Yes.
how did you come to this world? What happened? Where does David Hunt come from?
Well, I am originally from the small twin island republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We're literally right off the coast of Venezuela, and we're conquered by the English primarily. The Spanish and the French came in at certain times, but the English reigned supreme for all the while until we gained our independence in 1962.
Yeah,
So I grew up there and I came to the US as a young adult and studied music and computers and worked through that, got married, had kids, and stayed around the area because my wife didn't want to go back to Trinidad. That's the basic story. So
okay.
I'm here and love it every minute of it. I got to meet you, I believe, as a member of the Let's Get Live community with Doc Rock, and
Oh, yes, that's
that's
right. That's
that's
right.
where in those early Zoom days, and the pandemic, at the end of the pandemic, and just I was inspired by Doc and Kirk and really Albert.
Albert. I mean, oh,
Yeah,
I think Albert is a
that is
hidden
true.
talent for the
Oh,
stand up. Yeah, right.
yeah, so just working through that, and I was really inspired too by your guitar playing because I mean you played some stuff in those Zooms, and I was like, oh, this guy is
Oh
totally
yeah.
amazing.
Oh come on. Yeah. Well, yeah. Duck Rock
Yeah.
is
So,
is an
anyways,
amazing character.
that's where
Definitely.
I started, and really inspired by just using the gifts that I have, my hands, my voice, and my heart,
Yeah.
to make life better. And music
Yeah.
has a way
And
of doing that in a very tangible way. I mean,
yeah.
you're hitting these notes and making these sounds, but when they blend together, it helps to really either calm the mind and the spirit down and bring it to a place of peace.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why I really love playing music.
Yeah. But how did piano come into play with you? Why piano? Why
Yeah, so
not something else?
well, I think I have to blame my parents, my dad especially. So we come from a very musical family. All my brothers went for piano lessons. I was a lot younger than they were, like about 6, 7 years. They were all grouped together as older ones, and I came later. And my oldest brother went for formal lessons, and then my mom said, well, you can teach him. So I didn't actually go for formal lessons, but I got lessons from him. And the playing by ear piece came because my brother had a bass guitar, and we would listen to records, and I would try to figure out what those notes are whenever he was not using it. And that's how I started with that. And my dad showed me the guitar. I actually played guitar before I played piano. And, so when I played the piano chords, so after the bass, these are the chords on guitar for those bass notes. And then these are the piano keys for those guitar chords. And so that's how my dad pulled me in. And that was the end. I think I was about 8 years old when I started playing.
Oh
We were
man, that
very,
was
very
early.
young.
I didn't start before I was 15.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. But
Yeah, and when there was someone who mentioned recently on a live stream that they regret not following through with their, piano lessons when they were a kid, and when they got old enough, they were like, I don't want to do this anymore. And now, as an older adult, they're regretting that. And I said to them, it's like, it's never too late. You
oh,
know, people learn new things all the time. At work, you have, a new accounting system or a new program for inventory or whatever it is. You have to learn those. And the
oh,
same thing applies to music. By repetition, you're able to pick up those skills. So definitely you can learn, and how much you put into it is how much
mm,
you will make a difference,
yeah.
right?
But
So the reason I
still,
say that, and I'm gonna, I like to ramble. So
yeah, yeah. Go on.
um, as long as you don't give me that green stuff, we're okay. Um, so there was a young man who had a brain tumor. I think it was something like about 9 or 10 when he found out, and he was paralyzed for 5 months. He couldn't really move, but once they got and he lived for 20 months with the cancer when they diagnosed him with it, anyways. And for 5 months, he couldn't do anything. But for the rest of the time, he was able to relearn how to play because he could have played before.
Mhm.
And he had perfect pitch and he could see the colors of the notes and stuff like that. So his story really inspired me and encouraged me that at any age, like, you can relearn. People relearn how to walk, right?
Yeah,
It's such a vital. It's like, yeah, it's a motor skill. You knew how to do it before, but you can learn something new. You could definitely learn something new.
yeah.
So that's my encouragement for you today. If you
Mm.
are thinking about learning guitar, check out every week. Sorry, I should, no, no, every week.
Yeah,
Mac is giving us the business on how to play. So I take notes. Trust me, I'm
yeah.
taking notes, and I don't have
Oh,
my guitar with
I'm
me right
taking
now,
notes.
but
I'm taking notes when you're playing as well. And l- the last week's Friday live stream, when you even played a happy birthday song for my son, who turned 30 that on that very day, which was extremely appreciated. And he says a big hi to you and thank you. And
I,
but you also played
Eric,
somewhere by the end. You played. A piece before the piece for Goga, you've played a little bit of Okra Blues. And let's just explain for people in the audience, or as Doc Rock says it, for the people in the back. Um,
Yes.
Okra. David doesn't like okra. He ate it. He ate it in the live stream, and he just didn't like it. Okay, I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I love okra because I ate it in some Middle East stews, Lebanese food and stuff like that, Persian food, and they use that a lot, basically to kind of make the stew fuller. There are lots of different kinds of vegetables inside, and okra is just one of them. So it actually gets the taste from something else and from all the herbs and right people are using. So I guess you didn't really maybe try the real okra in a real stew that's been cooking for like 2-3 hours or something like that. So, but apart from that, you started playing okra blues like randomly in your live streams, and it's basically different each time. But this on Friday, I even have it ready here in our web browser that I'm going to be playing for you guys later on, where you played a kind of a great backup, which taught me a lot directly when you started playing. Like, shit, I've got to. Sorry, YouTube. I've got to note this
So
down. I really wrote it, and I even went into my Notion, and it created a new idea called Okra Blues, connected to the people I know, David Hunt. So I have several other parts of your live streams where I'm inspired by your playing. So which is like most of the times it's the chord shapes, it's arrangements that you do that are quite complex already on the piano. But for me, on the guitar, I'm kind of short of hands and fingers sometimes, but I hear the essence of the groove. So I kind of, if I nail something out of all that, it's going to be great. So
yeah, and
I'm inspired.
I'm
That's good.
glad you said that because um, the blues form the foundation of 90% of modern popular music,
Oh yeah,
right? You talk about gospel, you talk about country, you talk about contemporary Christian music, you talk about rock. All of these found can find their roots in the
yeah,
blues, and so I think for a lot of us, it's important for us to recognize how
mm,
those things come about, and just going back to it really helps to solidify. Like it
yeah,
informs a lot of what I do, so it helps to
mm,
solidify that foundation
yeah,
and help to create something new. Even just playing the groove
mm,
helped to form another thing, and so I was able to create. That was unpremeditated. It happened like
yeah,
an improv, but
yeah.
it created
It was
something
great.
something
I
really
loved it.
cool.
Yeah. How did
So out of well, what I mean by out of
yeah,
something old, we got something new,
yeah,
and so you could still create, even though the blues form is the same. It's been the same forever.
yeah,
Even if it's a 12 bar or 8 bar, or however you want to formulate it, you
yeah,
could still create something new from that foundation.
yeah, exactly. Let me know about the MLB crew, the whole idea of that making life better, which I think evolved during the pandemic because you wanted to contribute to uh, people gathering, you just spending some time together, maybe forgetting the worries and just inspiring them to uh, I remember you saying very often, your smile can make somebody's lives better or something. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. The MLB crew. I mean, it's just a way for me to name, the people in my community, and I I've always had this thing of making life better in terms of we have certain gifts and talents within us, or even the stuff that we do for work.
Yeah,
um Sometimes we can forget that what we do helps other people. So I usually say stuff like, you use your hands as a tangible way. Your hands are um, a representation of your body in the physical space,
Yeah.
doing stuff for people. Shaking a hand, giving a hug, helping someone cross the street. Petting a dog. Stuff like that. You
Yeah.
use your hands as a way to represent physical activity in the world. Use your
Yeah.
voice to admonish, to encourage, to defend
Yeah.
those who can't speak for themselves.
Yeah. To
You use your
empower
voice to
as well. Yeah.
advocate, yeah,
Yeah.
empower people. Or you sing, like, as you create a song, you sing it and you put it out in the world. It could help someone who may be feeling down and raise their spirits, right? That's
Yeah.
why I sing about the okra thing. It's kind of like, yes, I
Yeah.
don't like okra, but it's a lightning rod. You either hate it or you love it. And there's some
Yeah.
people who are like, yeah, I like it fried. you know, so
Yeah.
you can I say utilize that as a way to help people
Yeah.
just rally around something that can be polarizing, but at the same time brings us all together because we can laugh and joke about it. Like, oh, Christ, it's so no, it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Um, and so use your voice to create something that would make somebody smile.
Yeah.
Um, and the heart, powered by love. And I think I only see 4 people who have clicked the button. So I'm going to use my hand and click the button.
Click the like button. Oh,
Yeah,
all of a sudden, I see it in Ecamm. 2 more likes. Thank you.
there you go.
But I mean, we got 12 likes. It's okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
8, 19 people watching. No, no, that's 19 comments. I don't know how many people are watching, but it's great. It's great to have even one
It
person
says 8.
live is
I think
great.
I see 8 over here on my
Oh, that's great. That's great.
yeah.
And I also do all this for the love of sharing. And I like to put it this way as well. It's like this is kind of the technology has made it possible for us to have a kind of a legacy that doesn't cost anything. It will be there. Definitely, YouTube is going to outlive me, and many other people because
Yeah.
obviously people want a machine like that. Of course, there's a lot of crap over there. It's a lot of bad influences, and we really need to be precautious when it comes to social media and using YouTube. And I've caught myself many times that I'm just like kind of endlessly scrolling and watching the same subject in the videos just because I love the subject. And then all of a sudden, like 2 hours are gone. Like, what did I actually do from the things that I really intend to doing? It's like, is my attention to things matching my intention in doing things? What am I planning to do? Why am I doing that? So a kind of consistency that this live stream gives me is something that will reflect to other areas of my life. It's like I'd like to develop the guitar retreat part a little bit more, and I have other plans, and I kind of noticed that this consistency is kind of doing me really good. But you're doing that 3 times a week. Of course, you have 3 different live streams basically. So could you tell us about that? What's on Monday, what's on Wednesday, what's on Friday, and why?
Yeah, so I have Monday and Wednesday are very similar. Sometimes Wednesday could be shorter. So I like listening to, like, quiet time piano is kind of like where I settled on. YouTube says you have to, well, the pundits that talk about YouTube and girls say you have to have a niche. You have to, pick a lane and go down that road. And so I looked at my skill set as like, well, I play the piano, I sing, um, I can, talk about tech because that's what I do for work. and I decided to just go with the piano. I used to on Wednesdays we used to have more technical piece to it, but I've sort of kind of gone away from that. Maybe it's something I need to revisit. But Monday and Wednesday are very similar in that regard. I used to have like 6 or 7 songs that I would, play and, put them into, a playlist and have those play. But recently I spoke to a friend of mine and he suggested that I make more videos because that's something I've started doing. So what I do, I will take the songs that I play during my Monday and Wednesday live streams and I've cut cut them out into 10, 30 minute, so 15 minute, 30 minutes, maybe even to an hour
Hmm.
playlist. Or I would take that one song and play it for an hour. There was a video some guy did and it had like 3 million views, and it's like a 3 hour video of the same song. I'm like, is this a thing? And I've tested
Yeah.
it out, and actually I've seen my watch hours go up on YouTube,
Yeah.
so that it's having a bigger impact um, within a short period of time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's really really interesting.
Yeah.
So
And then
um,
Fridays.
Friday we have um, uh, um, subscriber, or even just anybody who's watching the live stream, they dictate the show, so they would ask questions. It's kind of like a ask me anything, AMA,
Yeah.
ask me anything. And or I play their song. So if they put the song in the list, if I know it, I'll play it. If I don't know it, I'll go learn it. And I've actually learned some some great tunes um, from listener suggested songs.
Yeah.
And I if I listen to it and I could play it live, I'll play along live with
Yeah.
it. Play it in the background. It's playing, but it's not coming through the stream.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it, but they're not. They just hear me playing
Well,
the
that's
piano.
amazing from the beginning, because you sometimes say, "Well, I don't know about that song. Well, let me just look it up," and then you find it on YouTube or somewhere, and you play, I guess, 20, 30 seconds of it, and then you already, you grasp the groove. You hear the chords and all that, and you're so experienced. You've played for such a long time that
Yeah.
some things are, in the reptile brains, like, oh, that's right, that's that. And I do that quite often when I'm listening to old masters, playing like 20s and 30s blues, because I've been listening to that so much that I can recognize patterns, grooves, and everything. Oh, I know that. That must be in this or that key, and that's it. So, but I'm amazed to see other people doing it, and I'm actually not especially good at that when it comes to maybe other kinds of music or maybe popular music, whatever. But yeah, you're doing a great job there. People really love it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate that. And I think I've been playing for as it stands now, um uh it's like 44 years I've been
Yeah.
playing music. So, a lot of the songs, I'm able to pick up the pattern
Yeah.
of, it's a 1-5-6-4 song, or, maybe the
Yeah.
verses, 1-4-1, 1-5-1, and I'm using those numbers as the Roman numerals for
Yeah.
the different chords in a
Yeah. Sure.
diatonic scale, right?
Yeah.
So, um, it's like even the country songs, or even gospel songs, or even just popular songs on the
Mhm.
radio, you're able to pick up those patterns, because a lot of times they're not making the music like they were making them, um, you know 30 years, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think of like Christopher Cross at Sailing. I don't know if you know that song or not. um
Mm.
If you can look
You
it up
don't
afterwards. But
you
there are
don't
so
have
many
the
songs.
yeah
Those rocks, or even a group like Chicago. For me,
yeah
they they played songs, but there were a lot of key changes within the song. It wasn't just the same pattern over and
mm.
over and over and
No,
over.
exactly. Yeah, but
So it
I've
made
noticed
it.
when you play gospel, and I asked you a couple of times to play down by the riverside because it's an old classic gospel song and spiritual that it started and became
Yeah.
gospel and it's been sung in large choirs and you had I mean just Sister Rosetta Tharpe has recorded at least 5 different versions with different choirs, sometimes solo and all that. So it's like, but when you played it, you added some of these modern gospel piano voicing that showed how broad your kind of spectrum is. So you're not just
Mhm.
within one style, right? You're much wider than that, and then you can like, I. That's what inspires me when I listen to you and other great piano players. You just hear that what they're doing is not everything they've got. There's something in the back. Something is like a withdrawn. Something is like a waiting as a reserve, or when it's needed, or something like that. And that's a sign of listening to a real pro within a genre or something, which is like that. Wow, because you could put diminished chords, some jazzy kind of chord changes, but it's never too much of it. You're always playing with a right measure of musicality, and that's what's for me above any fantastic impressive technique on an instrument. Like, okay, you can play fast, great, but there's a way to play fast as, let's say, James Booker did it, and the way that
Mhm.
somebody else maybe played fast. And there are a lot of copies of boogie woogie, Albert Amons influenced wizards, like, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. They've been practicing 10 hours a day for 7, 8 years, and of course they're going to be great technically, but sometimes the music gets lost. And that's
Yeah. So what I was thinking was, as you were saying that, is like,
yeah,
it's like a canvas, right?
yeah,
And you have all of these different tones and different color spectrums. Like my wife was talking to me about the blueberry color. I was just like, that's a color, or is it just blue? I mean, it's just
yeah,
like, oh no, blueberry is its own shade, and I see that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I'm like, so you have this canvas, and yes, I could play all of the chords that I know into this song, but is it the right stroke that you make, or
yeah,
the right splotches? There's some
exactly.
times you use your finger for finger painting, or you may just use a roller. If
Exactly.
I mean, it
Yeah,
depends on what you how you're just trying to see this particular space,
yeah,
and add the colors to it.
yeah. But how
And
did how
I have
did
a
the
couple.
modern, yeah, excuse me.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Patrick had a comment. Makes you feel very sincere and it's insightful. Thank you,
Yeah,
Patrick.
you did.
And I also wanted to say that just my purpose is giving back, right? And so as I'm thinking of the occasion, I'm thinking of um, the song itself and how I can tell that story. It's like, oh, maybe if I add this passing chord here, diminished, or this turnaround, from the 2, the 6 to 5,
Yeah,
um, to help to bring it around, and tell it a little differently than you did
yeah,
the last time, or just play
exactly.
it, straight ahead.
Yeah,
um
mm,
Sometimes it's just good to just tell it like you heard it the first time.
yeah.
um so that's
Well,
good.
There's a comment that I would put up again. This is a very good friend of mine who first was a business associate to our job at this study association, and Bengt here. By the way, Bengt, happy birthday! Bengt turned several years, several decades of his life lately, so happy birthday! And Bengt is an amazing organ player. He plays church organ, and he's a church musician in one of the congregations here in southern Sweden. Absolutely amazing musician, and he's one of those more modern organ players in the churches than it's usually. Some musicians within the Swedish church play quite traditionally, and that's it. But I know Bengt is influenced by lots of classical music, lots of a bit more modern kind of grooves and all that. So I love about that. But you should have seen him. Bengt was in my crew for the on my guitar retreat, and he played guitar, him and his girlfriend, and then we had this stomp organ outside the rehearsing room where we were. You know, the organ when you have to step on
the pedals,
yeah, exactly,
to get the bellows. Yeah, absolutely.
But when he started playing that thing out there, that was just amazing. Yeah, that was 6 years ago, I think, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. So, Bengt, kudos to you. I love you, man. He's a great friend of mine. All right, so
So I have an answer to another question. I don't know. Yeah,
okay,
I was just about to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have ever heard Sacred Steel.
Yeah, I have I've been listening to that for several years, and very old recordings from the 30s, where musicians would play steel guitar, the small lap steels, not even pedal steels, not when it came to country, but lap steels, small lap steels like this one, right? Let me go back
Okay,
to, yeah, those ones, and you put them on your lap and you play like a devil, which I don't, but with a little bit of practicing, and you just told me it's never too late, right? So those sacred steel guitar, there are lots of recordings on Apple Music, Spotify, easy to find, and they play some screaming gospel slide guitar that's so inspiring because it's actually a human voice, but on this little lap steel, and it's fantastic how they form the melodies and everything. So I'm totally with Milovan on this one. It's amazing. Yeah. But man, time is running, and I had some plans to play you guys something from. First of all, I wanted to show you your your YouTube page for people who would like to find you. So it's just David Hunte with a Hunte in the end. So you will find it there, and these are just David's live streams, and he has some fantastic videos. And this 40 minutes of worship, it's such a relaxed and meditative music that's fantastic. And then there are some videos as well that he made, and yes, right. I'm having a backlog here, and I haven't been there for a while. But let's say one of my influences on the guitar, but when I listen to piano players, is Albert Amons. I discovered him a couple of years ago when I just asked Siri to play me boogie-woogie piano on Apple Music. And I've got some stuff that I already knew a lot about. But then all of a sudden, Albert Amons came by, and that was like, wow, boogie-woogie stomp. And that sounds like this. And now we're always risking the copyright thing and from YouTube here, but I'll try to keep it brief and just listen to the groove, how he starts playing this. This is from after the intro, then he comes into this. this little thing, when it comes to do 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 do, that's some. This was recorded in the 40s, and you just think about contemporary musicians of that time, like Fats Domino started playing in the late 30s and the 40s. A lot of the bass runs that came later on within blues, within lots of other different styles, rock and roll, rockabilly, you name it. Everything started from this boogie woogie groove that came from that do 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 do, and that goes into, let's see. This do 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 do, and these notes, I'm inspired to find them on my guitar, and let's see. This is either let's see. Oh, this goes in C. Okay, so it's not really possible to play it with open strings so that it suits the guitar. Of course, we can always capo it. And I will just go back to this. David is still with us. He's not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let him leave. So he's here, but in the background, I just want to show you this little thing with Albert Amons. So let's just go back for a second. There. Do 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 do. To the next score. If we speed it up, we're coming to the rock and roll. And then do 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 do. Right, so I don't even need to learn to play this piano part. All I need is an inspiration from that driving left hand that goes to do 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 do, because piano players are fantastic when they can just have this one thing, the groove going with the left hand, and then just build up everything else on top of it. Many aspects of that are not possible to be played with a guitar, right? There's just another thing that if I just switch to Apple Music, and if you listen to this for a second, this is Albert Amons and me, Lux Lewis. I don't have to listen to this to emulate the notes so much, but it's like I can sit with them and just play some slide on top of that, just to fool around and to be inspired with all those crazy chord changes. And this is two pianos, right? It's not easy not to overplay, because that's four hands, man, a lot of keys, and they're playing at the same time. But when you listen to that fantastic dynamics that they're producing together, and throughout the whole song, which is like 3-4 minutes long, you go ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster of two pianos. There's somebody taking over, somebody just going in the back. It's fantastic. Just very, very inspiring for me to listen to, and in my case, much more interesting than listening to other guitar players. And it's not
Yeah, no,
really
and
about,
that's good.
yeah,
That's good. You know, so I was just reacting to Patrick. He said it seems piano seems like a complete instrument.
yeah,
Guitar also has a lot of those notes that are on the piano keyboard, but
yeah, I'm
I'm
sure,
always amazed at how guitar players are able to get that comping even without all the, you only have, you can only play six notes at a time, right? And
yeah,
so it's just amazing, Patrick. I'm in awe. I'm just listening to Mac just now synthesize what the piano was doing, just with three notes. It's like and you just
yeah,
have to get the basic of the groove, and your mind
yeah.
will like fill in the rest. You
Yeah,
know,
well, it will, and I mean, I've noticed that because uh, I started playing. Okay, let's go back a little bit. We rewind a little bit what you said before about that you're kind of giving back what through what you're doing, why you're doing it, giving
yeah,
back. My definition of giving back is that I came onto the music scene when I was like 22, 3 years old. Okay, I had my first gig when I was 18, 19, but I started making money by doing gigs when I was like 22, 23. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm getting a couple of bucks for that. We were the only musicians who played acoustic blues in the area, and people were so thirsty, for the live music and everything. We got work everywhere and anywhere. And first, we thought we got all that because we were good. We were not really good, but we were around, we were available, and we did, and we learned our chops by doing. So I'm grateful to people who could put up with us for these first couple of years until we learned. Most of them in the audience are still with us in Serbia and Belgrade and in those areas around. And I came back before the pandemic. I played there actually in January 2020, and we played this gig in a nice club in Belgrade. And our old audience from the 80s, when we just started playing, came. Those who survived, and they came to the gig with their kids and their grandchildren, and it's a community that we kind of helped establish somehow because we were so persistent in what we were doing. So I thought I was so privileged in those years that I could really make money and make a living out of playing music, and eventually becoming kind of solid musician that I could entertain people. What I've learned from that was that the groove is most important. No lick can match with the right groove. That's it, period.
yeah,
And I'm always
absolutely.
listening about the groove in anybody's playing. It doesn't matter the instrument, just the groove. Is it dynamic? Is it nice? Is there a melody in it? Is there a music about it? So my way of giving back is because I felt really privileged in the first couple of years, maybe even first 10 years of me being a musician before I really knew what I was doing. So now, well, I'm like 63. I want to give back. I just want to leave some kind of legacy, maybe make life better, right, David? For somebody
Yeah.
while I'm doing these live streams, sometimes better, sometimes worse, but it's so much fun, and you really feel, uh, you know, I feel grateful every time we do that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So the people listening are able to get, some enjoyment from it, and it calms their spirit. We
Yeah,
played, I mentioned on the live stream this morning, for a celebration of life for a young
yeah,
man who passed in May. And this is a young man I mentioned who had
yeah,
the brain cancer. And it was really healing for a lot of people to be able to listen to the music that he liked. And he had an old soul. I mean, you're talking about like Big Rock Candy Mountain, You Are My Sunshine,
yeah,
Man of Constant Sorrow, Forever Young by Bob
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the kind of music he was listening to, and being able to um, sing those songs and play them.
Mm.
And granted, the musicians I were playing with were excellent musicians in their own right on guitar and drums and
Yeah.
bass
Sure.
and stuff. But just being able to give back, to share, and none of the band members is like, we don't want any money. This is not a money grab. We're
No.
just here to give back and to share the gift that we have with the audience and
Exactly.
with the family. And
Yeah.
that was a very powerful moment, and I will
Yeah.
always remember it. But one of the things I will always remember is that the music in and of itself was the healing, and we
Yeah.
were able to bring that healing to the family, and everybody that we spoke to were so blessed and just so happy that they were able to be there to experience it.
Yeah.
So just like people who come to your retreat, right, and you remembering um banked is
Yeah.
he said
Banks.
his
That's
name
right. Yeah.
is playing the organ and just adding that extra, because that's what
Yeah. Mm.
he had. The gift was in him, right? Yes, he can play the
Yeah.
guitar. I mean, I play the guitar not to max level. I should point this way, but um, just being able to give back in that way
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah.
And
Well, now when you
share.
when
And
you
it's
say
not too
that,
late to learn too. That's the thing. If you want to
yeah,
learn next summer, there will be a guitar retreat in Sweden or Germany. Where is the guitar retreat?
it's in
It's in
Sweden.
Sweden.
It's southern Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've just went. I've had a great experience last week. I went to meet Mikael Mischa Koszorek. He's a German session musician, guitar player,
Yeah.
and we met online through this app that both you and I are using, Notion, right? And he contacted Marie Pullen, who runs this Notion Mastery course, right? And he asked her to help him with some databases for his songs and when he was teaching and all that. And all of a sudden, she recommended me, so he contacted me, about an hour of consultations with me, which is great. But then all of a sudden, we started talking music, of course, and everything else. And 20 Zoom meetings later, we're talking cameras, tech, music, and everything. And before you know it, when I was on my way to Berlin this last week, he just said, "Well, why don't you come over and visit? I'm just outside Berlin, so we could spend some time together, talk music, play whatever." And that was a most amazing experience, for many years. And of course, we're friends for life, and that's one of those things that happens online when you just like sharing things and doing things and helping each other, because only our first meeting was the paid one, because that's kind of how you start maybe a relationship, by showing the respect, and that's your time and buying and all that. But later on, we just do it on friendly basis. But this what you said about your young friend who passed away. I have a very good friend of mine who is. I mean, he was 10 years ago he passed away, but he's still not dead for me. He will never be. Just like Sam Mitchell, who I used to play with. Bo Eriksson, a friend of mine from here, from Sweden. When I came here, he was one of the first musicians I met, and started hanging out with, and we jammed a lot. Then later on, we started playing as a duo, and he got a brain cancer when he was in his 50s, and passed away. But I remember the healing power of music, which wasn't healing the disease, but it kind of healed him to cope with it easier. Because I remember my friend Joachim and we were kind of taking shifts by his bed when he was almost unconscious those last couple of weeks, and then we played music for him, all kinds of blues, jazz, all the songs I knew he liked. And then you didn't even think he was listening or hearing, because we thought he was sleeping. We just kept the music on, and all of a sudden he kind of wakes up and throws in a remark on that song. Oh, that was a great solo. Oh, that was Larry Carlton, right? Yeah, I remember that. And then he falls asleep again. So it's like never underestimate, the soul that's still there and going there. And that taught me so much about this. We were sharing, we were just doing things and hoping that, it has an impact on him somehow, whatever. Actually, we were curing our own anxiety of just being aware that we're losing a friend and, it's not going to last forever and all that. But it's this, yeah, make life better. That's why it touched me so much when I found you online and when you started using that expression and all that. It's like it goes much deeper and then it's just another live stream on YouTube. It's yeah,
Yeah, absolutely,
it's
man.
great.
And I cannot reiterate that even anymore. I mean, I think that
Yeah,
we have to understand that it's a gift, a gift that we've been given. And thinking about the experiences that you share and the different things that you go through, and the
yeah,
music, sometimes it could tie it together
yeah. It
and
is.
bring it out at another level and at a deeper level than we even understand sub- subconsciously.
Yeah,
um, I just got an email come in, but subconsciously we were able
right.
to to feel it, feel the emotion of the music
Yeah,
and respond to it. Yeah,
exactly.
so that's powerful.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, yeah. Sure. David, did you listen to James Booker when you were younger? Uh,
I can't say. I probably did,
no.
and I just don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, that's the
Um,
same kind of groove when I was kind of growing up within blues. I listened a lot to Dr.John, but then I went back to his own influences, which were Professor Longhair, then James Booker, and some other early kind of boogie woogie players. But James Booker was much
yeah,
more than that. He played some gospel. He played even some classical music turned into ragtime or boogie woogie, which he played Fur-Elise by Beethoven, and just fooling
yeah,
around with it. It was amazing. But he's got this one little ditty that inspired my slide playing a lot, and I'd like to kind of finish off with that. With a big
sure.
thanks to all great piano players and a big thank you, David, for being my guest and as well for all the wonderful music you're putting out every week, 3 times a week. And whenever I can, I'm in the live stream supporting you and just loving every note you're playing. So if I
Oh,
go
thank you, man.
to this, it's called Put Out the Light, and I put it somewhere. No, let me see. If I do like this. So this is like 3 chords, right? We go
Yeah,
to the fourth chord, 1 5
five,
1. So
five,
and he
one.
goes
Yeah,
that, and then just a little bit later on, he starts into this kind of groove that's kind of boogie woogie. Let me just go fast forward to that. Right. So we come to that. So
yeah.
which key was that? That's kind of G sharp, and you as a piano player know that I don't know if it's a suitable key for things like this, but for me, sometimes when they turn old LPs, master recordings onto CDs and then put it on digital, sometimes, the keys fluctuate. So it's not really G sharp. Maybe it's been G, or maybe it's
No, that
A.
sounded
I don't know.
like G sharp to me.
It did. So you piano players can play, and that's kind of G sharp. I know my piano player likes to play F in F a lot, which is a killer key for guitar players because you lose the basses and everything. And then he likes to play E flat, especially when it comes to jazz. And
Yeah.
the D is okay because I can then kind of capo my guitar, whatever. But let's say
Right.
this. Let me just go back to my to this one. Uh, 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 I'm off now because I had to put a capo on a G open, so I'm in G sharp, and the frets just won't match. But so if I try to calm down now a little bit, there's this, and then there are two ways to reach this melody. Already that is a great inspiration, because why would you play it like a... These notes are kind of dead for me, but I gotta... That's life already, right? I like that one. And then... Do, 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 as a... So what I do with this song is I kind of just, go through a couple of rounds of that and just let it go on a replay, and I just fool around with him, and that's it. But then I usually tune the guitar to the G sharp so that I'm in a right,
Okay.
positions on the
Yeah.
neck and everything. So that's how I get my inspiration from, let's say, piano players. I play along. I kind of try to listen to a couple of rounds of the song, and then sometimes I'll concentrate on basses, like what's the left hand doing, where's the melody, how can that be played together. And sometimes I even imagine that, oh, we're jamming, and what would I be playing if I was jamming with somebody who played this, which
Yeah.
teaches us like how not to be in the way when you're playing with somebody else. And that's the greatest skill of all, how to not be in
Right.
the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How to stay out the way? It's just like know your assignment,
Exactly.
understand your assignment,
Exactly.
complete your assignment, and stay in your lane. That's four
Yeah.
principles of
Stay in your
playing in a
lane.
band, right? Playing in a band or a group
Yeah.
setting. The
Yeah.
beautiful thing about piano though is that you can play more than 10 notes at a time. And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is a lot of times we do the arpeggiation, or we play multiple notes of the, so you can play low, you
Yeah.
use the sustain pedal, and you can play high, right?
Exactly.
Or in between. So a lot of the comping things, the boom jank boom jank boom jank,
Yeah.
those things are aided by the sustain pedal. It's
Yeah.
one of the
Exactly.
things that guitarists don't have
Mm.
um
No, but we have open strings
access.
which we can let ring for in some situations, but
Yeah,
not like on a
yeah,
piano and not like a sustain pedal. I know exactly what you mean. But this was a pity that you didn't
right.
have piano with you today. Otherwise, we would be live streaming for like 3 hours, because I'd be playing a lick and you'd be playing a lick, and we just going crazy. Maybe we'll do it sometimes. Your live
Yeah,
streams are like
absolutely.
six
I'll
o'clock in the
have you
morning,
on.
so yeah.
Well, 6 o'clock for me. It's like 12 o'clock for you,
Yeah, for
right?
me, it's like lunchtime. It's very luxurious time for me. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, I'll spend my lunch with David,
yeah.
and
You're already in the
yeah,
future, so um,
exactly. Yeah.
so we take it. So, but I want to say thank you for having me on, and just for utilizing the little space and time that you have here
Oh,
for someone else.
pleasure is all mine,
I
David.
think
Pleasure is
it,
all mine.
I know, I understand, and it says a lot about what you do and who you are, and we
Yeah.
really do appreciate. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm glad that I can call you friend.
Oh man, the
Um,
same back. It's mutual. Definitely.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, we got Patrick here who just have a statement. You're on my musical feeling speed dial. So that's
Hearts,
amazing
hearts
to
all
be
around.
able to do that. And then of course, G had G sharp pretended to be A flat. Yes.
I think of it more as A flat than G sharp.
Yeah.
Um, Even though if I'm in the key of E, I do call it by its right name.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people who say E, F sharp, A flat, A.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not the
Yeah.
scale. But
All
it is
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's Milovan saying thank you, and I second that definitely. It was a very inspiring talk, and
yeah,
I really feel loaded with good energy and vibes
yes, sir.
for the day to come. Because
Yeah,
now it's evening here. It's like 10:17 p.m. Kind of
wow.
time to round up whatever we did today.
Yeah,
I guess Albert is talking about Patrick now. His statement that yeah,
yeah. He knows. He
great.
knows. That's good.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And you can always hit me up on email homesickmac@gmail.com, or hit me up on Twitter, which is at homesickmac. And otherwise, I will see you next Monday. That's going to be fun. And don't forget, David Hunt on this Wednesday, 12 o'clock Central European Time, Eastern Standard Time. And then that's what's your time then? 6 o'clock
6 a.m.
Eastern. 6
Eastern.
a.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. Oh, man. That's it. So, David, I will see you in your stream. And you guys are welcome back to my stream next Monday, right? So
Yeah.
let's just have fun and have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, and I will see you next week. David, see you, brother.
Take care, Ross.
All right.
And it was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. And she called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me. Now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world.